see if this works. There we go. Woohoo! It says we're live. Hang on. I thought I goofed up and I closed up all of the windows. That's another reason why you need to scoot closer to me. You can't. I'm glowing and you can't see you. There we go. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good morning.
Good chin. Here, I'll switch back. There's a go. We're always having a hard time getting started, and I apologize. Make sure you talk loud too.
Can you hear me now?
There's no test button before you go live. Like you can't change it, you can't adjust it, you can't see yourself in the window. So this is it. You get us doing that first thing in the morning before coffee. Before I introduce us, wake up.
I just woke up.
I woke him up like 5 minutes before this. I said, get up. We're going live. And he's boom. Anyhow, good morning. My name is Amber.
I'm Tim.
And we are 2 of the 5 Bradshaw family members that moved here from the city to East Tennessee off-grid where we live now. But it's not just the 5 Bradshaw family members. One of the Bradshaw family members moved to the city in Knoxville. The other one got married, and that is Gavin Loudermilk and his wife, Ashlyn. They live 1/10 a mile above us on our property, and they're off-grid home. They don't have solar or hydro or wind or anything. They're old school in it. And then the newest member is my mother, Pamela, and she just moved here from South Carolina, and she's now living in the little cabin Gavin used to live in. So we're one big family. Good morning, Sherry. How are you, sister?
Good morning, Sherry.
Sherry, we're getting prepared today for the weather tomorrow. Snow, wind, and rain.
Yay.
Did you know we were doing that today?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, good. So anyways, we started this blog, I guess you call it now, when we first moved here because I was lonely. We left everything behind. We left all of our friends, our family, everything that we knew that we were comfortable with to follow what we feel is God's path for our life. And I was lonely and I wanted to talk to my friends and have coffee. So enter our coffee conversation. And over the past 4 years, it's more like been a chat therapy than anything else. But we share ups and downs in all of our life about living off grid here in the mountains and just life in general. It's not always about off grid living.
Yeah, I stomp my feet every now and then.
Honey, you stop your feet so much that you could be the Irish River tap dance. Seriously.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It is rough.
Constantly stomping his feet. That's so funny because you didn't even know what I wanted to talk about today.
Oh, okay.
I look rough, y'all. I just kind of jumped out of bed.
We've been having some late nights.
Okay, can we reiterate?
Yeah.
Because back in the day, if you knew us back in South Carolina and you were part of our late nights, you know good and well those late nights were early mornings. Now he considers a late night if we're in bed at 10 o'clock. That's late. And we've had a couple of those late nights. Oh, goodness gracious. But no, stomping your feet. Let's talk about this is ironic that you were talking about that just a little bit. I haven't had a chance to discuss with him any of this. But one of the things I know that you have a hard time with, and I do too, I'm not going to lie, is not achieving our goals. Like, I've got this, where is it? Oh, it's in the bedroom. I have this poster board size dry erase board, and that is our goal. If it's a holiday, my recipe's on it, my menu's on it for what I'm cooking for a holiday. But generally, it has our goals. Wake up.
I'm awake.
Our goals as a family and what we need to do either that week, that month, or for a long time. So, go ahead. Get you a sip of coffee, honey. You all get a sip of coffee, too. We need to wake up. You can't just wake up, not have coffee, and just start getting in life's deepest thoughts, you know?
No.
No. It's good. It's real good. Do y'all want to know the secret of brewing a perfect pot of coffee? 1, you can't have decaf. That's not coffee. 2, you have to get freshly ground roasted beans. 3, you have to cook it in a percolator. See? Each over. See? Percolator. Okay, not one of those instant drip plastic thingies. 4, you have to get good quality filtered water. 5, you have to cook it over fire. And once it starts percolating, you're going to turn down that fire, move it off the direct heat to let it simmer for 7 minutes. And then after it's done, let it rest and pour you an amazing cup of coffee. There you go. There's your recipe. Oh, and for our percolator, I can't remember how many cups that is. It's 3/4 cups coffee.
That was fascinating.
Coffee is real. Our relationship with it is
Oh,
real. You go your day without it and see how you feel.
oh, I can't.
See? And you
No,
don't want to go a day without me having it.
no.
See? It's real. Okay, so let's get back to um, being discouraged. We get discouraged when we have plans and we can't get to those plans, or we can't achieve our goals, or we can't accomplish what we set out to do that day. And homesteading is all about that. Like, you can have plans, the pigs will get out, the goats will get out, the rabbits will escape. Somebody needs firewood, somebody needs water. Just you forgot you ran out of feed and have to go make the 2-hour drive there and back to go get it. Homesteading is all about not achieving your goals and your plans getting mucked up.
Oh yeah, that's definitely you. There's a lot that goes on there, and especially when you have livestock that's not live. I mean, sudden
Oh yeah,
something
sudden death.
happens.
That's a whole day right there.
Oh my
Or a
goodness.
sick animal. You can have plans, and we had that recently. One of our puppies, doing fine, doing fine. Next thing,
Yeah.
Lyndon comes in and says, "Mama, something's wrong," and it's a Sunday, and I'm like, can't find a vet, can't figure out what's wrong with the dog, and that's your day. You're spending your whole day treating for that animal, trying to be a doctor, praying and doing your best to hope it survives. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. More often than not, on a farm or homestead, if you have livestock, and most of our livestock is considered prey, they're like at the bottom of the food chain. So prey animals are trained instinctively to not show their sickness. They don't want to seem weak. They don't want to seem sick because then they become food to the predators. So they hide it. So by the time you notice it, it's too late most of the time. And that's your whole day or your whole couple days. That is
Yeah.
what you do. Live things first. That's our motto. So I don't care what you had planned. If something is sick or needs your help and it's live, then that's your goal. That's your plan. Your plans have now changed. But I will say, you I will admit, it's easy for me to admit because it's you, that you struggle with not achieving your personal goals a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
Share about that.
Um. Well, sometimes when
Go ahead.
you've got all these grand plans to do things, you're just not able to get them all done. And it seems like what I've um, done here is we've we've started a lot of projects that aren't getting finished.
Wait. Can we stop for just a second?
Yeah.
You said here. Okay. Let's rewind just a little bit to our life at the beach. We lived there almost 25 years.
Yeah.
The only time the projects were finished was the week we moved here. And the only reason you were motivated to do that, to finish all of those 25 years of projects, was because God laid on your heart to move here. Correct?
Hmm.
I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so we've only been here over a little over 5 years, or 4 years. We haven't been here 5 years, 4 years. And so, judging by the time frame, that's not out of the norm to have 4 years of unfinished projects.
It's not.
I just had to clarify. I wanted him to admit it in front of y'all. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I mean, when you look at my track record, I guess, yeah, that's,
Not your no. Not your track record. Anybody.
wow.
Anybody. Honey, I still have a square that I crocheted for a baby blanket for my son before he was born. He's 28. I'm not done. It's not you, it's everybody.
Mm.
But go ahead. So you get frustrated that you have all these unfinished projects, and
Well, I mean, that's, dealing with that every day and, continuing everything that has to be done every day. I mean,
so you feel sometimes it's your daily tasks that stop you from achieving your goals
a lot of times, but
because this way of living is hard
yes, it is.
and it takes more time for you, in your opinion.
Well, the time and the energy, that it takes.
Well, you get tired. I mean,
Well,
you start your job, your goals for the day already tired.
well, yeah. Somebody says, you're no spring chicken anymore.
There was for a TV show, and she was talking about how hard this life was, and we're not. We ache and we crack when we walk, and parts are given out. But so let me ask you this: when we lived in the city, though, we didn't have this way of living. What did we have to blame then?
Oh, we didn't. I mean, then
I'm just curious.
we pretty much had no excuse because we had all the modern conveniences there. I mean, we had 5 grocery stores within 5 minutes.
And then you have to haul your water or chop wood.
Yeah, everything was at hand, and it was pretty easy. I mean,
but our project still went unfinished.
Yes, it did.
So maybe it's just easy to blame this task that we don't enjoy doing. I'm just asking. Hang on just a second. Yep, a little here and a little there getting accomplished. It can wear on one. And it does, honey. It does. There's no doubt about it. Just for instance, yesterday, Timmy got a big goal accomplished with the help of a friend of ours. And what did you do? You say it. Look a little happier when you're talking about it.
What? Well,
look a little happy.
Um, I'm building a shop, and
no more working under a tarp in the rain.
Yeah, that's been another tough one here, not having a facility to
work in,
a shelter to work under, and
we've used umbrellas, tarps, pieces of tin leaned up against the house.
We've had those little 10 by 10
gazebo tents.
We've destroyed I don't know how many.
At least half a dozen.
With the weather.
Just so he could have a place to work to build this stuff. But tell about what you did.
Yeah, we're putting the roof on it, and it's a pretty big roof.
Where do you keep looking? You keep looking to the left. I think he's looking outside of the shop. I can't wait to see it in the light because y'all finish right before dinner.
Yeah. It's a 2-story shop.
Huge. It's as big as our house.
A 12 pitch roof on it.
Upstairs, his shop is bigger. But he got the roof done, and that has been a huge, like black cloud hanging over his head, wanting to get that done.
Yeah, and that's my second and last one, I think.
He's got one
more. Not a 12 pitch roof.
It's going to be steeper than a 12. It's an A-frame.
I'm done with those. Well, A-frame is a lot different. Your roof and your walls are all in one.
So he got the shop roof done. But here's the thing. This is what I wanted to. I've been thinking about this all night long. In our private group of Mighty Networks, and you're welcome to join. It's Mighty Networks. I think My Homestead Life is where we are. And I started that group when Facebook started censoring everything. So if you're on social media, we're in we Mighty Networks and Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. But Mighty Networks is my heart. It's like where we can open up and discuss anything. We got prayer requests. We're just life is getting us down. We talk about conspiracy theories, the truth. All those kind of things are on there. Anyways, one of our members, Wendy, shared, she was frustrated. she said she feels like for weeks, all she's been doing is the bare minimum of homesteading. It's not bare minimum, it's really a lot of work, but she wasn't moving forward in any of her goals. And she was she was upset. She needed us. She needed that support team and sharing that. And she just kind of wanted to vent. She wasn't looking for answers because she knows this too will pass. And I get it. I read her message and I'm like, yep, I get it. I've been dealing with this one, going through that for a while lately. And not that I'm not impervious to the homestead burnout. It's just we're different. I feel like I've been called to do this in my bones my whole life. And he got a much later calling from God placed on his heart late in life. So I think when you get discouraged or frustrated or it's hard, depending on why you were called to this life, it's easier to want something different, or get homestead burnout. So here's the silver lining though on that. A friend of ours, Randy, mentioned in the comments. He said some really supportive words and encouraging. And in the end, he's like, I'd rather underachieve doing God's calling than overachieve doing my own. And I'm like, I mean, I hope I don't underachieve doing God's calling. But if I feel, and you've told me, that God placed this life on your heart, we sold everything, we left everything, and we moved here. And that's his calling for our lives. So we're not supposed to work at our speed, at our goals, at our task. We're doing his plan. And it's okay if we don't hit the target all the time.
Yeah, you know, with me, it's amazing how one day you can be telling yourself, I could never move again. I would never leave this place. And I'm talking about when we lived in South Carolina because I thought,
We were going
I,
to die there. We were figuring
yeah,
out how we were going to get buried by the ocean.
exactly. And then to to have that sudden change, knowing that there's something more, and it's not just your living, it's your the way you feel inside, and something that has touched you and drawn you to just something a lot, a lot more, how do you say?
I think we're closer to God
Yeah,
here,
exactly.
more in touch with
More in
nature,
touch with your,
intentional living.
yeah. And it's something that I mean, I really can't explain, but
It's hard to put
being
into words.
as hard as it is here now, I could never go back on. I know that God brought us here, so
I
it
love our way of living.
and I know it's hard, but the struggle is worth it to me. And I know, like I said, I stomp my feet and I talk about it because I don't want to hold in. Is we'll make it one way or another, but as long as we're doing what God's plan is, then the rest, it doesn't matter.
And I think that's what I loved about Randy's message. He's like, I'd rather underachieve. I mean, I don't want to
Yeah.
underachieve God's will for my life, but I'll never live up to it. I'd rather underachieve for His will, for His plan, doing this life, than overachieve doing my own plan that just serves me. So I've been thinking about that all night long. I said I just got to share it with y'all because if you're frustrated, like we all get, and I even asked that about in our groups. What do you do when you get homestead burnout? And like some people, like I don't get homestead burnout, and I guess I'd say maybe I worded it wrong. It's not like you don't want to live this way, but you just the days just get to you, especially in the days when you lose livestock or something breaks and then you thought you fixed it 1,000 times. It gets frustrating, and you don't necessarily want to give up, but you feel like giving up at that moment. but you know that you would never would. And a lot of people said, I drive to the city. I spend a day in the city, and I'm just like, yep, nope, I had enough. And ironically enough, we had that 2 days ago. We went to go see our daughter and her boyfriend in Knoxville, in a big old city. And as a young kid, probably around their age, I wanted that. I wanted that downtown Charleston life. I was a
Mm.
single mom, and I thought I would want downtown Charleston where I could just walk everywhere, didn't have a yard to take care of. Thankfully, that never happened. But now, when we were in the city and driving, I felt like, when you put magnets together backwards and they just push away from each other, I couldn't get out of there quick enough. And I wanted to see my daughter, but I was so uncomfortable. And it's weird because I used to feel right at home in the city that I couldn't wait to get back. And the closer I got out of those lights and the driving 70 miles an hour, and closer I got to our little windy, dangerous roads and no lights, I was just like, I could feel my body just start to relax.
Hmm.
Maybe you didn't feel that way, but my butt was puckering driving on that highway. Somebody's in front of me, somebody's behind me. They're right on your tail. They're going 70 miles an hour, and I can't see nothing because it's night. And yeah, I'm not comfortable
Yeah. We don't spend as much time on the interstates.
at all, or in cities, not
Yeah.
unless we have a doctor's appointment. But my point is they were saying, I was asking, what do you do during homestead burnout? And a lot of times somebody said, just get a new project. So, I mean, if I had any more projects, our house would bust at the seams. But I get it. And the other was like, just go be around what you left. Be a homestead burnout. Go be around what you left and see if you made a mistake. Sometimes this life isn't for everybody. And the reason that a lot of people do that too is, they're unhappy, so they feel that a change of their environment will make them happy. I've got words about that too, but then they see all this glamorizing of, I call it Pinterest perfect life of homestead life. They're all hugging chickens, they're having coffee with chickens, they're just like milking little baby goats, and it's all so cute. And nobody discussed the real parts of it. And so they have a false sense of what this life is like. And they still feel like they can have their same habits of the city urban living and homestead at the same time. And that's just not going to happen. Like taking vacations.
Hmm.
So my thought, the purpose of that was, if you're one of those and you move from the city thinking that this life would be glamorous and that you were doing it hoping for peace and relaxation and not all this hard work, go back to the city. See if you made a bad decision,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. It's not saying you failed or anything else. It just wasn't for you. Oh, good morning, honey. How are you? Um, but your bones and you feel called to it. God put you here or whatever you believe in, and you have homestead burnout. It's okay. We all get it. You get it a lot. Be adaptable, be flexible, dust yourself off. Tomorrow's another day. What?
I think when we first moved here and it started raining,
It didn't stop.
I was so amazed at the rainfall and how much water comes down
58 inches.
on these mountains,
I think it was like a half inch below record or something like
and
that.
seeing the streams flow and the hard clay turn to mud is it blew me away. I mean, just to walk, I mean, your feet would just fly from under you.
Everything was a struggle.
Yeah.
What is your purpose for mentioning that, though? Were you thinking about how hard it was when we first moved here?
Well, I'm thinking about, we've ridden out hurricanes and floods and stuff
By the
where we
coast,
came
yeah.
from,
We've had more water damage here than we ever did at the beach.
the tourists and everything. I mean, it does get tough, but here it's a different
It
world.
challenges you in a lot different ways. You really do see what you're made out of, and you could either tear you apart or bring you together. One of those two things,
Yeah.
And I had some friends that moved thinking this was the lifestyle they wanted, and the off-grid, remote type of homestead living, and it turned out that it wasn't for 99% of their family was not happy with this lifestyle. They all wanted to be plugged in. They all wanted to be connected. They all wanted more convenience, and that's okay. It's not for everybody. I do wish, and one of our goals, I think, and I know God has planned for us to have 4 cabins. What we do with those cabins, I do not know. He's laid on my heart several different things, but one of them I would like to see is to be able to offer people the off-grid experience that they can come and just taste it to see what it's like, because Pinterest and the internet make it so bougie. Like a daydream, like a vacation, from their stress and their life. That I would love to be able to have a facility like that that gives people a taste to see of, hey, could I do this? Without just selling everything, quitting their jobs and moving to Tennessee.
Yeah, what's going to happen is you're going to have.
So transported my woman from AC, Jersey, northern Maine. That means you northern Maine?
Wow.
Maine's tough.
Yeah.
See, I think I moved, or Timmy moved, I moved us as far north as Timmy could handle it.
Yeah, Maine's up there. That place is beautiful, of course. But yeah, it's,
but from Jersey, Jersey isn't a southern city either.
Yeah, the coast that's amazing. I've never seen the inner part of
Maine.
Yeah.
Well, but as far as he can handle it, one, our infrastructure could not handle anything colder than what we have right now. Two, my husband could not handle anything colder than what we have right now.
Yeah, I couldn't live in a place that they measure snow in feet. That's just
No.
we get 3 or 4 inches here, and it pretty
no, we've
much
had 6.
6
on our solar panels last year.
Yeah,
we're getting snow tomorrow, matter of fact. But yeah, that's cold, and you gotta. That is something too. I don't think I would have ever been able to transition us from South Carolina and the beach to Alaska or someplace, or Idaho or someplace like that, especially not with the same type of tools and equipment and housing that we have now. We would have quit. We would have tapped out. That's for. God would have had to really given us some provisions to make that happen.
I've never experienced the cold temperatures here that we just had a while back.
20 below.
With the wind and everything. When you're up on a mountain, that wind starts blowing.
But thankfully, it doesn't last long.
Yeah, it came through. It froze everything,
and the one good thing about where we live is we have really cold, and then like 2 days later it's in the 50s. It's just short little snippets of it, and that is nice for us. Because of still transitioning. We still have Southern blood. My mom, she has much Southern blood, a lot of Southern blood. She's originally from Southern California, as am I, and then she lived in Michigan for several years, and she hated the winter. And then she followed us to South Carolina for 20 years. And then she just moved here. And she has been cold since she got here. I can't seem to warm her up.
Yeah, even on the warm days.
Even on the warm days. We're up here at 60 to something degrees in the house. And she goes, can you guys have a fire? I'm like, fire? I got the door open. It's gorgeous. She's like, I am freezing. And she was. I touched her. She's like freezing. And so it'll take her a while to acclimate. Give it a couple years. We'll have coffee, and she'll go, oh, yeah, that was fine. Right now, she's freezing.
I can definitely take the cold a little bit better than I used to.
Sure. You can. You can.
A little bit.
You can. But anyways, back to the homesteading goals and, not getting it all done. You got to allow yourself a lot of grace in this life. And we've adapted that rule, live things first. So if we've got a to-do list and it's a mile long, we look at what's alive and what needs to be handled first and deal with that. And then down the list of importance, and be okay to some extent with your plans changing at the last moment.
Yeah, It's
You got anything to add?
it's gonna be hard because our projects are big and they don't get finished quick, and we don't have.
Yeah, rest of it gotta go do the rabbits and turkeys. Stay safe. You too, honey. Yeah, we gotta do our livestock. We're a little bit behind.
They aren't squawking,
They
so
ain't
we're good.
squawking yet. We do two times a day feedings, 8 o'clock and 3 o'clock. But on Sundays they just gotta wait because we're with you having coffee, right? They just gotta wait. Live things first. Coffee, us, we're live, right? But yeah, and I'm so glad that we talked about that in our group yesterday about being, just discouraged about not getting the things done that we need to get done because I know that I've been talking to you a lot about that recently. I mean, you've been fighting it really since the end of, well, since the wedding in November.
Hmm.
Do you finally see? I mean, personally, I was frustrated with Timmy feeling that way, and so I wasn't a very good spouse because we were in the position financially to finally hire some help. Timmy's never hired help, or we've never had help. We've never hired out for a job the entire decades that we've been together, and he's always done everything himself. And that's for two reasons. One, we didn't like anybody else's work. It was never up to par. Two, we couldn't afford it. And three, Timmy doesn't like working with people. He's not a snob. He just can't articulate his thoughts. So all of his plans and his ideas are in his head and they can't come out his mouth to tell somebody else how to do it. So, did I say that properly?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So, so anyways, we were finally able to hire him some help, and this young gentleman was very talented and works well with Timmy. And we've gotten, in my opinion, more done on our homestead in the last 3 months than we've gotten done in the last 3.5 years. I'm not going to count that first year because we built this house in 3 months and that was a God thing. And we can never duplicate that again unless his hand is on it because that was just insane. But so I was frustrated that Timmy was, disappointed about the lack of what was getting done because I'm like, we've been paying all this money to have help and we've got more done now than we have in years. And you're still upset? I'm like, ain't nothing gonna make you happy.
Well,
We had a little tip.
I'd like to add to that. Um, it is
Just came home for church. Hi, honey.
it's amazing that how fast time goes by during the day. I mean,
Here.
you get out there and you start working, and before you know it, it's lunchtime. You get something to eat. You get back on it, and before you know it, I
Time to feed
mean,
the
it's
animals.
it's done. I mean, it's tough, and
Well, it's also tough too because I mean it's dark by 5 o'clock,
yeah, it goes quick.
and if it's daylight out, we're working. And even sometimes when it's nighttime, we're working. So that's my motto too. There's no sitting down during the day. If there's sunlight hours, you are doing something. We don't do anything other than work if it's daylight hours, unless we're running short, running errands and stuff. But it makes your work day short. But look at all of that you guys have accomplished. So let's just do a quick recap before we end our coffee conversation. In 3 months, y'all have insulated the cabin down below where my mom lives, and it hasn't been insulated this whole time that we lived in it or when Gavin lived in it. Added plastic to upstairs to block the heat. Almost completely rebuilt the kitchen. Added siding inside the bathroom down there and in the kitchen. Insulated all that. Painted the walls. Built our countertop. Installed the sink.
Deck and the ramp.
Installed a deck to the cabin and a handicap ramp. Installed a deck and a roof over our walk-in cooler. Moved the freezers. Plus all the little honeydews that go with her moving in and all the little bits and pieces. Y'all moved us the big storage shed that we had up here, built a deck for that, built a stairs for that. And that was no easy task. That was pretty hard. Cut several cords of firewood, built your 2-story chalet out there with an upstairs apartment. That's huge. The place is huge. I'll have to share a picture with y'all. All the things, built Gavin and Ashton their off-grid homes and all the things associated with that.
Mm.
So I go on. That's 3 months, y'all. 3 months. Mr. Underachiever.
Yeah.
I wish I could underachieve like that, y'all. So
I should be ashamed of myself.
I'm not going to finish that line, but yes, you darn well should be. So we'll leave on this note, and thanks for joining us for coffee. Is if you feel, God has called you to the life that you're living. In Randy's words, rather be an underachiever doing his plan than an overachiever doing your own. And for that, we'll say goodbye.
Amen.
Thanks for putting up with him.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.